Okay, I just got a new camera. It was a graduation present from my parents. Thank you, Mom and Dad. And so I'm still like trying to figure out making sure everything's all like settings and good and stuff. So a little shaky on that. I'll work on it. I don't know what's going on right now. Hello lovely people, my name is Nicole and today I am going to be doing the reader problems tag. This was originally created by About to Read on YouTube, and this just gives you a bunch of situations and questions that readers often struggle with, and asks you to say how you would solve them, I guess. So let's see, the first question is, you have 20,000 books on your TBR, how in the world do you decide what to read next? So for me, I am very much just sort of a mood reader, an impulse reader, and so I will just sort of look around, pick things up, and then whatever strikes my fancy is what I will proceed to read. A lot of times after I finish a book, I will have a sense of like what genre I want to read next. So I just sort of go from there. And if I get, 20 pages into a book and it's just not doing it for me, I'll put it down and pick up something else. Question number 2, you're halfway through a book and just not loving it. Do you quit or are you committed? I used to be very committed. I used to say, if I start a book, I'm gonna finish it, no questions. I'm not gonna like wuss out halfway. But honestly at this point I have so many books on my shelves and on my TBR that, if I'm reading a book and it's just not doing it for me, I'm not gonna waste my time. Sometimes I will put it down and pick it up later if it's just like I'm not in the mood for this kind of thing. But if I'm halfway through a book and I'm just really not enjoying it, I will put it down and then like sell it to half price books just because I don't need that kind of negativity in my life. Question number 3. The end of the year is coming and you're so close but so far away from your Goodreads reading challenge. Do you try and catch up, and how? To be honest, I'm one of those people who I'm always like 7 books ahead of my Goodreads challenge. But saying that out loud sounds kind of like one of those people who is like, oh my god, it's such a struggle, I read so fast. Not trying to say that. But if, hypothetically, I was just a couple books behind on my Goodreads reading challenge, I definitely would try and just read as fast as I possibly could to catch up. Hypothetically, over like end of December, I would be on winter break from school, so I had lots of time to read. I just pick up short books or books that I know aren't going to be that much of a struggle and just power through them. Number 4, the covers of a series you love do not match. How do you cope? Well, I have been known to repurchase paperbacks in hardcover form. Although if like the hardcover doesn't match the rest of the hardcover, if the hardcover for one book doesn't match the hardcovers for the rest of the book, like if there was a cover change, I'll probably stick with the paperback unless I already had the hardcover, in which case I'll have the hardcover. It's just sort of depending on the series. If it's available, if I have the option, I will probably buy matching covers just because I need that prettiness. It's just, it's pretty and I like having pretty shelves. So, question number 5. Everyone and their mother loves a book you really don't like. Who do you bond with over shared feelings? Probably go on to Goodreads, just because there is always someone on Goodreads who leaves horrible, horrible 1-star reviews and who's just absolutely brutal to a book, no matter how good it is. So there's always someone you can find who shares your feelings on a book on Goodreads. Other than that, I'd probably look around on YouTube, see if there's anyone who agrees with me on there. Twitter, maybe, but probably Goodreads. Question number 7. A sequel to a book you loved just came out, but you've forgotten a lot from the prior novel. Will you reread the book, skip the sequel, find a synopsis on Goodreads, cry in frustration? This is actually something I'm struggling with right now. But depending on how long the first book is and how much I remember liking it, I might reread it. I might just like skim through it, or see if I can find a really detailed summary or someone who did a really in-depth review on YouTube, just depending on how much I remember liking the book, how much time it would take to reread it, how much I actually care about the sequel. Question number 8. You do not want anyone borrowing your books. How do you politely tell people no when they ask? I'm just straight up, like, I don't care if I sound like a bitch. No, you cannot borrow my books. And I mean, like, I'll explain. I don't let anyone borrow my books. There are maybe 3 people in this world that I will let borrow my books. I'm very protective of them. Mainly because a lot of times people borrow my books and then I don't get them back for several months, and that's really frustrating. So yeah, I'll just, no, you cannot borrow my books. I know they're beautiful and you're very jealous of them, but they're mine. The library, I can point you to the library. That's a great resource. Get books from there. Question number 9, reading ADD. You've picked up and put down 5 books in the last month. How do you get over your reading slump? If I'm in a reading slump, I think that's probably a good sign that I need to take a break from reading. Just like, if anyone's in a reading slump, that probably means that you're trying too hard, you're pushing yourself too hard. Take a step back, binge watch the new season of Orange is the New Black, which just came out last night. Oh my god, it's so good. Anyway, you know, find a show to take your mind off of it, or a different hobby. I don't know, maybe you like bowling. Whatever you do you. But yeah, find something else to take your mind off of it, and then eventually you'll pick up a book and not want to put it back down, and you just can't force it. You really can't force it. Although if you want to try and force it, you could try rereading one of your favorites and see if that jumpstarts anything. Question number 10. There are so many new books coming out that you're dying to read. How many do you actually buy? Well, as we've seen from my book hauls, apparently all of them. Yeah, it depends on who the author is and how excited I am to read them. And the final question, question number 11. After you've bought the new books you can't wait to get your hands on, how long do they sit on your shelf before you get to them? It depends on the books, because when I got, for example, A Court of Thorns and Roses, I read it pretty much immediately after I got it. I started as soon as I got home. But with a couple other books, I got them, I was super excited to read them, I had to pick them up right away, and then they just didn't, and they might sit there for a couple months. So far nothing's been on my TBR for over a year, so that's good, but couple months is sort of the max. Alright, so that was the reader problems tag, and this is kind of an old tag, but I thought it was fun. So, let me know what your opinion on these questions are. I love you, and I will see you later. Bye!